The Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom through investing in real estate. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life you love. I'm your co-host, Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life because, girl, you deserve it. Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to the Without Fear of Her Future podcast. Today, we're honored to welcome Kristen Williams, a collaborative author of She Nailed It and a real estate professional whose story is marked by resilience, faith, and courage. Her journey includes navigating major career pivots, taking huge leaps of faith, and taking on the battle of her life with faith and determination. Kristen's story is a powerful reminder that even at life's forks in the road, God leads us into purpose and victory. We are so excited to hear her story and share her insights today. Welcome to the podcast, Kristen.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you on here.
We are.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. So Kristen is a student of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, but she is also a personal friend. We're just so glad you're here to talk about the book. We're going to talk about the book first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your story. And I know your story is kind of intertwined into the book, but we're here because of She Nailed It. This book has just been released. It's a #1 bestseller already. So excited about it. We want to know first, how did it come about for you to be a part of this book?
Yes. So I had been talking to Coach Jeanette about some real estate investing stuff, financing stuff. And one day she reached out to me and said that she had a new book project that she was overseeing. And she was so excited about it. And I was so excited to hear about it. And she was sharing some of the details with me and asked if I would be willing to share my story as one of the chapters of the book. And I obviously was very overwhelmed with excitement and just truly honored that she felt led to include me in this book.
Love it.
I know, I do too. And I'm so glad you're a part of the book. 12 different authors just telling their story. And it's just such an amazing project. But what do you think made you say yes? Were you excited? Were you scared?
Yes. As a matter of fact, this was very much out of my comfort zone. I had never been a writer. I had never in a million years dreamed that I would be part of a book or much less helping write one. I had a lot of anxiety about it and I was very excited, but as the time drew closer to start writing our chapters, my anxiety just set in and I was so nervous. I didn't know what to say, what to even talk about. And I had reached out, told Jeanette, I can't do this. And she said, girl, yes, you can. In true Jeanette fashion, she said, yes, you can do this. So I just prayed and I prayed so intentionally about it. I had spoke to some of my close friends that were just incredibly supportive and speaking words of encouragement and prayerful support over this. And the Lord just spoke back to me and said, you need to share your story.
That's right. Well, I'm so glad you said yes. It's such a powerful story that women need to hear. It's going to be so inspirational, so excited about it. So yes, I'm so glad that you said yes.
Thank you.
In the book, I've read the chapter. It's so good. I'm so excited for our listeners to get their hands on this book and read it. But we're just going to start out kind of at the beginning of your chapter. We're going to just work our way through it. But you talk about making a really big career change when you were younger, from healthcare administration into mortgage, and that it was a huge leap of faith for you. So let's just start out with the beginning of that story. Tell us how that all happened.
Yes. So I had I had started in healthcare. I actually attended a business school right after high school that was specifically for medical office. And I learned all the things about medical office. And I just assumed that medical on the clerical side of things would be the path I took. Um, I was married at 20 years old and had my first son at 21 years old. And I knew that I didn't want to go to college. I was now a mom, and I just didn't see how I could fit college into my schedule. So I worked through various positions in the healthcare industry, and I had worked with this particular hospital for about 4 years. And I knew that I needed something more. I had gone through a divorce. It was just my son and I was really struggling to try to take care of him. And my mom had just moved back to Texas, and I was actually helping her look for job opportunities. And I stopped at the gas station one day and grabbed the local newspaper to check the classified ads. And I came across a listing for a mortgage broker that said no experience necessary. So I didn't even know what mortgage meant at the time. I didn't know how to spell it, I didn't know what it meant. I just knew that this particular listing sounded very intriguing to me. And so I reached out to the lady, and she was building this new office with all brand new people that had no experience, and she was going to train us. So
Sounds perfect.
yeah. So at the time, I said, well, I have no cushion to fall back on. I had been struggling already, so I did not have any financial safety net there, but I knew that this was an opportunity that I really needed to explore. So that is how I transitioned from healthcare into the mortgage industry.
Do a newspaper
I
article.
know it. I love
Yes.
it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love that you had the faith to make the call and
Mhm.
ended up getting the job. And that's just how God works sometimes, is us just saying yes, giving it a
Yes.
try.
And I
Doors
wasn't
open.
even supposed to be looking for jobs for myself, but that one like jumped out at me.
Oh, I love it. I
So,
love it.
funny story though, my mom did not get into the mortgage industry at that point in time. But I did manage to lure her into the industry some years later. So, she also works in mortgage.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right. So you took this job that no experience necessary. They're going to train you. That's where it all started. But you didn't really stay there long because I know another big opportunity presented itself. So there's another leap of faith here where you ended up and you really got your training and your experience in mortgage.
Yes. So, in the small broker office, like I said, none of us had training. And we were just literally showing up every day trying to figure it out. How were we going to survive? And I needed more stability. So I only stayed with that company for about 6 months. And we worked in a office building, and there was a title company upstairs. And I had made friends with a couple of the ladies up there, and one of them had mentioned that her husband worked at a nearby countrywide office, and the branch manager there was looking for an assistant. So I only had about 6 months in the industry, still had so much to learn. I had learned very little in my time there. But I reached out to that branch manager and made the appointment, and was offered the position. And that was when I really got established in the mortgage industry and worked my way through multiple roles with that group before later going to a different company.
Wow, so good. Well, let's shift a little bit to your personal life. Tell us about your family. Obviously, they play a big role in this story. So tell us a little about that.
Yes. Um, my family is literally the heart of everything I do. I'm married to such an amazing, supportive husband, almost 19 years. And he's really been instrumental in my growth, not only personally and professionally over the years, but he's always been my biggest cheerleader in everything that I do, and really just shown me a love and a level of support that I just never thought I would find. I also have two amazing sons, Taylor, who's 22, and Caleb is 17. Um, and every battle that I have fought through this life has been for my kids, just not only to show them that hard work and perseverance pays off, and there's gonna be hard times and struggles through life, but honestly, it's how you handle those situations that's
Mm,
going to dictate how the outcome is. And
yeah.
as long as you remain in your faith and trust in God, there is never going to be a mountain too big to climb.
That's so
Good.
true. So
Yes, it
true, so true.
is.
So you're with this company, you're in the mortgage industry, you've gotten married. Um, I know a lot of our listeners are kind of like you, kind of like me, Teresa. We were all single moms, and that's hard enough in itself. Um, but you got remarried and you had a baby. Just talk to us a little bit. Tell us, how did you juggle, because you were building a career at that point. How
Yeah.
did you juggle your growing family and your growing career? Because that's not easy.
I did not do it alone. Um, it takes an army, they say, and that is absolutely true. I literally had the best support system with my family. My husband has worked away from home for the majority of our marriage and while our kids were growing up. And so it was still a lot like that single mom lifestyle. Although I had a husband and I had that additional financial support, I didn't have him at home every day to help with, the everyday life of raising
Yeah.
kids and working full time. And my both of my parents were very helpful, my grandmother as well. But honestly, my dad was truly my lifesaver on so many occasions.
Mm.
From the time that my boys were little bitty till my dad passed away in 2023, and he always was very, very involved and helpful any way that he could be. Um, Actually, when I had my youngest son in 2008, my older son had just started kindergarten the week before. So my husband works in the power line industry, and there was a hurricane coming, and he got called out on storm damage to go out of state 24 hours after our baby was born.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and he was gone for 2 weeks, and here I was with a brand new baby, um, a son that had just started school, and my husband out of town. So, without any hesitation, my dad packed up and came and stayed for several weeks, and he just was always anything he could do to help. If I had to travel for work, he was always there to care for my kids. If I was going to miss a school event or sports game due to my work schedule, my dad was always there to support them. And my mom, she also had a busy work schedule being in the mortgage industry, but she would step in and help as much as she could or in the times that my dad wasn't able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It makes such a difference to have a support system,
It
whether it's
does.
family or friends. I know as a single mom, I had a village of other moms that I relied on. So that's such a blessing. In reading the book, I love how you described underwriting in your chapter, because you looked at it very differently. I think you said it was like an art. Tell me, talk about that and how you pictured underwriting, because that's what you ultimately ended up doing was underwriting in
Yes.
mortgage.
Yes. For me, underwriting was never boring. Every single file was different in some shape, form, or fashion. Every day brought a new challenge. It was, in my mind, it was like a puzzle to solve, and I love challenges. Um, it required critical thinking, attention to detail, creative thinking, to figure out how to get these borrowers qualified for their mortgages. Some of them, first time home buyers, the excitement of purchasing their first home, and, other people that maybe self employed and had challenging income. And it was just the attention to detail. I'm very, OCD, I guess. And so detail has always been a big, a big part of my life and how I handle things. And so that was how I really found fulfillment and joy in what I did, because I was able to play a small part, kind of more behind the scenes, in these people being able to finance their homes. And it just, I wasn't on the direct side of it with client interaction, but behind the scenes, it's such a fulfilling and rewarding job to be such a part of an intimate process in people's lives.
Well, I love it because when you're on the other side, my gosh, you always want the best underwriter in the world because they either make it
Yeah.
for you or, they
I
either
always
one
thought
to
I'm
get you
either
the
going to
deal
be
or not get you the deal.
I'm always
Yeah.
going to be their best friend or their worst enemy.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
So when you know that somebody like you is fighting for you and really trying versus just, it's just a job.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
goodness, that's amazing.
I
That's
have
amazing.
to I admire you, Kristen. I don't know. I think you may know this about me, but I spent 2 years in the mortgage industry, and it takes a special person to do what you do, even from loan officer to underwriter to whatever it was not my most favorite 2 years of my life by any means. So I admire you that you love it and you find that fulfillment in it, because that's definitely a gift.
Well, it is, and it's awesome how God has given us all different gifts.
Yes.
Yeah, so good. But you made yet another career change a little later.
I
One,
did.
yeah,
I
let's talk
did.
about your real estate investing. I'd love to hear how that came about and what you focused on and all the things.
Okay, well, this is a good one. So, um, no, on a serious note, I loved what I did and I had a lot of fulfillment in my mortgage job. But after so many years of working long days and long nights, weekends to keep up with the demand of my job as an underwriting manager, I was kind of underwriting manager by day and underwriter by night, when we had staffing issues or high demand, high volume in the surges of the market. And I had just missed so much time with my family and my kids. And at this point, I was feeling burnout. I was trying to look for other options, but nothing paid as well as the mortgage industry. And I didn't want to take a huge financial step backwards. So I was really just trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be. And I was scrolling Facebook. I remember very clearly my husband and I were doing yard work, and he does not like yard work. But I had gone in to take a break. It was a very hot day in the summer, I think. And this Facebook ad pops up on my phone for a $17 masterclass with the Women's Real Estate Investor Network. So I was immediately intrigued. I watched the video of Tresa talking about how she had started late in life and she was able to build this incredible legacy for her family through real estate. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is my answer. So I told my husband, I have to take this class. So I I had always been an HGTV junkie. I never really watched TV, but that was the only channel I really watched. And so I thought, I know all the things for flipping houses. I am educated, but I'm going to see what this masterclass is about. So, fast forward, I took the 7-day class in September of 2022. At the time, we were living in California, and I knew that that wasn't a market that I felt comfortable starting out real estate investing in. It was just, we were kind of in that point where the market was kind of cooling off there. Obviously, the price point is much different. I didn't know a lot of people there. And we had been discussing moving back to Texas because my dad's health was declining. And so I thought this is the perfect opportunity to not only leave my mortgage career and find that change that I was looking for, but also bring my family back to Texas. So in October of 2022, I took a leap and bought my first flip house in Bowie, Texas, sight unseen.
Ooh.
Yes, sight unseen. So I was one of those people that I knew if I did not have that prize in front of me when I left my security of my job, that was pretty much all I had known in my adult life of working, that I was afraid I was going to get cold feet. So I broke the rules and bought this property sight unseen. And over the next couple of months, we just started putting our plan in place and decided we were going to move back to Texas at Christmas while the kids were out of school. My husband had some time off for the holidays. And so I gave my 2-week notice in the middle of November. And I thought, this is perfect. That'll give me about 3 weeks to pack the house, get everything situated and ready for us to move back across the country. And needless to say, when I gave my 2-week notice at my job, they begged me to stay an extra couple of weeks. So that kind of changed my plans a little bit, but I did do it. And that left me about a week to get packed and get everything prepared to move. And at that point, it had been a couple of months since I had taken the master class, and I had the motion in place, and I was going to do the thing. I had quit my job. We were in the process of moving. So I actually signed up a second time in December, right before we moved, and took that class again as a refresher. And I immediately joined the mentorship program from there. I was just so overwhelmed with all of the specialized knowledge that had been shared from Tresa and Kelton and Justin and the other coaches. And I was so excited. So that's how I broke into real estate investing.
I love it.
I do
So
too.
this is how, let me just tell you this. This is how Kristen and I became personal friends, because she had joined the network, and I believe it was that next year in 23. We were in the Facebook group together, the network, and she just did a post, and correct me if I'm wrong on the post, but it basically was, hey, would love to meet up with some other, ladies in my area. Here's where I'm at. And I just happened to respond to that post because I had just moved from Frisco to Grapevine not too long, before that. And I didn't have a ton of connections on my side of the Metroplex. And so I responded to her message and said, hey, let's meet up. So we actually ended up meeting for brunch. And that just we became friends, and she was involved in the network. And I think maybe got more involved after that. So that's kind of how we connected.
When I'm hearing you tell the story, I love to just think about women and how they make their decisions and all this. So this is what I learned about you. You always jumped at an opportunity. Like whether it was the opportunity from the news article and then 6 months later you get a different, you always, and I love that.
You say yes.
You say yes. And then when you had the opportunity for the book, you said yes. When you have an opportunity to become I'm going to take this MasterClass. I'm willing to move. I love women like that are just yes. And I'm going to take leaps of faith and I'm going to trust God. And you have certainly done that. And you have been such a blessing. And I believe you've been blessed from all of your yeses. And, but it hasn't been easy. I know that you said yes, you jumped in and you started doing real estate investing and started finding success. But then another big life event on the horizon. Oh my goodness. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. It was March of 2024, and I had been one of the lucky winners for a weekend retreat at Teresa's house. And I was so excited. It was a new opportunity to meet new ladies in the network, and we had lots of fun things planned. So we all met on Friday, March 1st at Frisco in this cute little boutique store. And we had a lovely dinner and designed hats. And it was really a wonderful night of meeting these ladies and building these connections, just immediate connections with these ladies, fellow WREIN sisters that had flown in from other states. And the next day was a full day of events planned at Teresa's home. And that Saturday night, after I had returned to the hotel, I was getting ready for bed. And I noticed a lump in my breast. And I was concerned, but I didn't want to let it ruin the incredible weekend that I was having at this retreat. And I had mentioned it, I think, to Melissa and a couple of the ladies, and I was like, man, I need to make a doctor's appointment. So the following week, I went to the doctor and was immediately scheduled for the mammogram and ultrasound. And oh my goodness, the waiting games were real. It was the most crucial. It was terrible. And
there was a lot of praying going on.
Absolutely. And I was calling on all of my prayer warriors. My concern hit home a little bit differently because I had lost my best friend at the age of 40 to aggressive breast cancer about 6 months after she was diagnosed. And so immediately my mind was all over the place. And so it actually took a few weeks before I got the results from my biopsy. So it was the end of March when I actually got my diagnosis of invasive ductal carcinoma.
Wow. And that started quite a journey.
Yeah.
That as hard as it is, I am excited to talk about this because your total journey, cancer journey, was about 8 or 9 months from the time of your diagnosis to complete, I don't know if it's remission or cancer-free. I want you to talk about, because this just blows my mind. And when you talk about her being a yes girl, I mean, your attitude, everything that you did, I want you to talk about what you accomplished. You're going through cancer. You're going through a full mastectomy. You're going through the chemo. You're going through reconstructive surgery. Like, that's a lot for anyone. But you accomplished quite a bit besides just beating cancer.
I did. Honestly, when I first got diagnosed, I was a train wreck. Emotionally, I didn't know what to expect. My husband was working away from home, so I didn't have him there. And it was just a lot to take in. And oh my goodness, so many prayers. And God just spoke to me and he said, everything's going to be okay. This is going to be okay. And so, sorry. It's just emotional because
That's a lot.
I really just had to get my mindset right. And once I did that, it was just an immediate transformation. I had seen all these cancer support pages, and everything just kept saying mindset, mindset. And
Yeah.
once I had my mindset that cancer was not going to overrule me and it was not going to define my life, I don't know. It's like I just found this whole new inspiration and desire to fight for everything I wanted. And
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I had just started taking my real estate classes the week after our retreat at Tresa's. So that was in early March. Um, Obviously, several months of going through lots of doctor's appointments and different testing and waiting to find out what my treatment plan was going to look like. And I continued working on my studies for my real estate license. I actually ended up completing that course relatively quick. And I sat for my licensing exam on May 8th and had my double mastectomy on May 17th.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And at that point, all three of my last flips that I had finished had just been on the market. One of them had been on the market since the week before Christmas. One had went on the market in January, and one had literally just went on the market at the beginning of March. And immediately, that fear set in of, oh my goodness, now I have to focus on my health. And these properties weren't selling. And I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And part of how I knew that God was going to take care of me was that within a week's time, all three of those properties were under contract.
Hallelujah.
I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
So you now keep going, because I know there's more to what you did while you were fighting cancer. Keep going. Keep going.
Yes. So I had started my chemo treatments in the middle of July. The week following my first treatment, I broke ground on a new construction project for another client. It wasn't a property that I owned, but I was the builder. A week after I started that new construction job, I came back to mortgage part-time, and I was a loan officer assistant. I actually went back to the company that I was previously an underwriting manager at. So I was familiar with the company and the people I worked with, and it was just an easy way to keep my mind busy. I'm such a busybody, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to sit at home through this health journey. And so now at this point, I was in the process of building this new construction and coming back into mortgage, but on a different side of things. I was now on the origination side, and there was so much to learn there. So I just quickly was drawn to that client interaction and those conversations and playing a part in that journey on a different side. And so I started studying for my loan officer license. And I sat for that exam the first week of September. And I finished up my chemo treatments around the middle of September. And about 2 weeks after that, we finished the construction on the new build for my clients. So all within a 30 days time, I had gotten my originator's license, finished chemo, finished new construction. And also during this time, I had purchased 2 rental properties that I did renovations on both of those in
I mean,
Oklahoma.
I mean,
Overachiever.
are you
Yes.
kidding me? Ladies, do you hear what she I mean, no, most women don't accomplish that under
Without
normal.
cancer.
Right,
Exactly.
right. I'm blown away.
No, you are superwoman. I
Oh,
love it.
wow.
And you just keep going. And you
Mhm.
just keep going and going and going. And now you've written a book and all the things. So
I
you are
know.
such an inspiration. You are,
Thank
and I'm
you.
so glad that women are having the opportunity to hear your story, because my
Yes.
question to them is, what is your excuse?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to send them to this episode of the podcast when they start throwing excuses and say, "Listen to her story.
Yes.
Read the book, read her chapter."
Yeah. And then that you just had such a positive outlook and gave God the
Mhm.
glory all the way through it and still do. And I'm so
Absolutely.
proud of you. Can I just say that? I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you, Kristen.
Thank you. And I will
So,
say a lot of the support came from within this network. The Women's Real Estate Investor Network has just played such an inspirational and instrumental part of my life in the last 3 years since I joined. And the community and the support is just, it's unmatched. And honestly, that really helped me fight that fight, because I knew I had so much support outside of my close friends and my family. I had these women all over the country behind me, rooting for me and praying for me. And so thank
Mhm.
you, Teresa, for this network and putting yourself out there and doing those brave
Mhm.
things to
Well,
create such an
you are
imaginable.
so, yeah, you are so welcome, and you are such a blessing to the network. And
Mhm.
you're a gift. So thank you.
You
Thank
really
you.
are. You really are. So, Kristen, you've written this chapter. When someone takes this book and they read your chapter, what do you hope they take away from it?
Oh, goodness. So many things, honestly. Just the one thing that stands out to me is, if I could go back and whisper to that young, exhausted, and terrified single mother, I would just tell her, keep going. You don't know it yet, but God is writing a story that will inspire others. And you're stronger than you think, you're braver than you feel, and your journey is only beginning. And
So good. That makes me get teary. I mean, wow.
Thank you, Kristen, for
Oh,
sharing all of this today.
yes, yes. Such a great conversation. Your story is just so powerful. It's a powerful reminder that even in life's forks in the roads, faith, perseverance, and obedience can lead us into purpose and victory. Kristen, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your heart with us today. And to our listeners, if this episode encouraged you, be sure to share it with your friends, family, coworkers. We just want to thank you so much for being with us today. Until next time. We bless you. Be brave and dream big. Listeners, if you're aiming for financial freedom, dreaming of designing a life you absolutely love, or just curious about how real estate can transform your future, you're in the right place.
Yes, ladies, if that sounds like what you want, our masterclass is the key. It's easy to understand, super straightforward, and packed with all the secrets you need to start investing in real estate confidently and successfully. Why wait to build your dream future? Join us and let us make your dreams a stunning reality.
Just click the masterclass link in the notes below.
And we can't wait to begin this journey with you.